Hi, and welcome to Michigan Matters. The cost of attending college and living in a dormitory is rising. It's put the cost of staying on campus out of reach for many students with financial needs, which is why businessman Mike Bickers and his wife Barbara are stepping up as they establish a new endowment at Oakland University to help underwrite dormitory costs for students in need. He's here along with Oakland University President Dr. Ora Hirsch Pescovitz to talk about it and likely a few other topics too. Then it's a focus on Michigan's growing defense industry as a national convention heads to Detroit. We have three leaders involved here to talk about it. It's a show about helping young people find a brighter future and boosting our state's defense industry. Let's get started.
From CBS Detroit, this is Michigan Matters with Carol Kane. Michigan Matters is brought to you in part by Cure Auto Insurance.
And we're joined by Mike Bickers, PNC Bank President for Detroit and Southeast Michigan, and Oakland University President Dr. Ora Hirsch Pescovitz. It's so great to have you guys together here. How you been?
Great, thanks.
It has been a minute. I know, Dr. Ora, since you've been here. Lots going on in Oakland. We're going to be talking about some of that. But, Mike, I want to start with you. People know you from PNC and things that you do with PNC in the community, many different things, which we'll get to. But you and your lovely wife, Barbara, just established the Michael and Barbara Bickers Housing Fund in Oakland, an endowment to help underwrite the cost of dormitory for young people from disadvantaged backgrounds who don't have the funds to stay on campus. And one, why did you do that? And two, what do you hope it accomplishes?
You know, I tell you, the whys are easy. So as a lot of people know now, I'm a graduate of the great Oakland University and have always been thankful and grateful for what that school did for me. And in fact, the current team, including my friend next to me, and how her team treats my team. And also the second piece is the heartfelt way all of us together care about our young people and their opportunity to grow and thrive and contribute themselves.
Yeah. Why is it important to live on campus? I go back to a lot of us have been in commuter situations where you live at home and drive to school, but being on campus is sort of a different experience, right?
Yeah. So when I can tell you personally, when I tried, or I financially I had to at certain stages in college, could not live on campus. And it was just difficult, especially if you also work. It's kind of choppy. So when you're on campus, you become a part of the campus experience. And I think it makes all the difference in the world. I really do.
Yeah, and Dr. Orem, Oakland University, amazing imprint in the region here. How many students, and I saw something recently, I was reading an article about higher ed here in the state, talking about the economic impact of Oakland. How many students and what is the impact of the school?
We have about 16,000 students now at Oakland, and we really do try to encourage students to live on campus for the reasons that Mike has talked about, because it really does contribute to the vibrant experience that students have. They get engaged in campus life. There are so many activities that students who live on campus get to experience. Lectures, concerts, athletics, and it enhances the experience for them. In terms of the economic contribution that Oakland makes, we just completed an economic impact study that demonstrated that in 2024, Oakland contributed $2 billion to the local economy, and the alumni, like you, contributed $6 billion, those that live in Michigan, to our economy. So it's really substantive.
Mike, you are from Detroit. You grew up here with your single mom. Yep. She was working a number of different jobs, providing the best future for you. And in fact, you went to schools in Detroit and Highland Park.
That's right.
You had an opportunity. One of your teachers saw you were a very studious student, suggested you attend Cranbrook's Horizon Upbound College Summer Program.
Yes.
And you talked about how that kind of experience changed your life.
Absolutely. It's interesting because I got such a mix. So I was in Highland Park at the time, but I was that competed to attend Cranbrook's summer program. And it's kind of funny because they send this shuttle to get you, and it was a long time ago, and I lived in Highland Park. And that was like at 6 Mile and Woodward. So we get on the shuttle, and it was taking a while to get to Long Lake and Woodward, and everybody knows that is. And so I stood up and I went, man, you know what? I think we're going out of town. So it was kind of funny. And so you get there, and the beautiful campus just sort of hits you.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole new experience. and adjusting to 7 courses in the middle of July in school and competing. But it taught me that there's another world, not necessarily somewhere I prefer to be, but just there were different people to experience, and there were different learnings to experience. And that is what I would share with you.
And I know it's all about providing opportunities and exposure to different things, which if you just stayed in your neighborhood and going to the school, you would have missed out on a lot of that things here. So I want to talk about the endowment, which, Doctor, I want to ask you about it, because we hear about it, but I'm not sure the average person knows what's involved with that. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Michigan Matters and Mike and Dr. Ora right after this. And welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're talking with PNC's Mike Bickers and Oakland University President, Dr. Ora Hirsch Pescovitz. And Mike and his wife Barbara just set up a new endowment to help underwrite costs for dormitory for Oakland University students going forward here. Dr. Ora, so just real quickly, explain an endowment, how it works.
Well, at Oakland, in order to set up a new endowment, we require a minimum of $25,000, but anybody can add to an existing endowment. And an endowment is money that is invested for a donor's particular interest. We're very indebted to you, Mike, and your wife, Barbara, for setting up an endowment for housing, and it's really wonderful. What happens is the money is invested, and then the proceeds, the money that is generated from that, is used for the particular cause that the donor is interested in. And we are committed to that. And then the proceeds are given for that particular purpose, in this case, for student housing. And the invested money grows. And then it is there in perpetuity. So even when you and Barbara are no longer here, students will be beneficiaries of your endowment in perpetuity. And that is really the most marvelous gift.
Well, and if someone doesn't want to set up their own endowment, they can take it and add into to Mike's endowment or another.
Endowment. Absolutely. And so they don't have to have $25,000. They can contribute to existing endowments at Oakland. We have about $180 million right now in existing endowments, and they're in all kinds of areas, mostly for student scholarships.
Yeah, well, there's so much need out there given the rising costs of college education and everything else right here. Let's talk real quickly about, Mike, your PNC Grow Up Great program, and I know you have a big event coming up in just a few weeks here where you're going to be giving out backpacks to little ones in Detroit.
That's right.
And you're going to be involved in this. How many backpacks?
I am. You got that right.
How many backpacks?
At least, oh my goodness, hundreds of backpacks. Yeah, so we'll have about 100 of our folks taking shifts on April 14th to build out the backpacks and stuff them with great stuff for great kids. And myself and some teammates are going to go out and deliver those to a few different schools.
It really all is about, you're all about education, young people and their education in particular here, which is what the PNC Grow Up Great program has been about. But this brings up the broader issue of education here in Michigan. There's conversation going on about should you get a college degree? And Dr. Ora, besides the fact that obviously you represent a university, just put some meat on the bone about that. If someone is on the fence, do I want to go get a college degree? Do I not need to? What would be your advice?
I think there's a lot of myth about the importance of higher education. And first of all, I need to say that here in Michigan, we've already demonstrated that of the top 50 hottest jobs in Michigan, 46 of the top 50 require a bachelor's degree or higher. So it is very important. A second myth is that higher education is not accessible and not affordable. That's also an important myth because we know that it is, in fact, both accessible and affordable. At Oakland, for example, 60% of our graduates graduate with no debt whatsoever. And those that graduate with debt...
They're getting underwriting, they're getting scholarships
from both the state and from wonderful donors like you, Mike and Barbara, and from others. And if they do graduate with debt, those students that do, at Oakland, for example, on average, the average debt is less than $23,000. And they're able to pay that back in less than 18 months because they get fantastic jobs that they're able to get because they have a college degree.
And most of the grads stay in the region here?
They do.
Unlike some other universities that shall remain nameless, where they go to Chicago or Silicon Valley or something.
They do. They get great jobs that are high-paying jobs, and so it's very important. It's also important to note, though, that here in Michigan, our per capita income has been dropping at the same time that our number of college graduates has been dropping. So in 2000, we were ranked 18th in the country as a state for our per capita income. In 2024, we dropped to being 40th out of the top 50 states.
Isn't that interesting? Because the reading and testing scores are that same sort of track, where Michigan is like, it's into the 40s, I don't recall, I think 48th or something.
It's a sign of our dropping in terms of our valuing education, K through 12, K through 18, and higher ed.
So recalibration of education is front and foremost to lots of different political CEOs, folks of us here at the table here. Mike, this is something that's really important to you. How do you think we're doing in a nutshell at addressing our educational needs this way?
You know, as I see it, and I spend a lot of time with a lot of young people, you know, again, elementary, preschool, high school, I think there's always going to be work to do, but there are a number of examples out there, and we talked about it during the break, where we can, you know, make the advancements we need to make and not just keep talking about it. I know where we're ranked. I really don't need another analysis on where we're ranked. We understand that.
Yeah.
But I think Madam President said it best. If it's important, then we have to make it important.
Well, I think everybody's working together to try to figure out how to make this better, and certainly the new endowment that you and Barbara set up at Oakland University is going to help that cause as well.
And Mike's story is such a beautiful example of the power of education.
That's right.
Education
for success.
And inclusion,
Absolutely.
too. There we go.
Absolutely.
Much more to say about it, but unfortunately, we are out of time. I want to thank you both for being here. Reminder, you can learn. If someone wants to find out more about that endowment or others, is there a website or something they can go to?
There is. They can contact Mike Westfall, Christine Talbert at Advancement at Oakland University.
Just remember Mike Westfall, so you need to remember it. OU. Thank you guys so much for being here. Congratulations on the new endowment.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. Barbara and I would like to say thank you to Oakland University.
And we want to say thank you to you.
All the thanks keep on going here. Thank you both here. Appreciate it. Enjoyed the conversation. Really important stuff. So keep it here. We're back with more Michigan Matters, and we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about the defense industry here in Michigan. Keep it here. We're back. So is our high-powered roundtable laser-focused on Michigan's defense industry as we welcome three leaders at the forefront. Misty Martin, retired Lieutenant Colonel, chair of the upcoming MDEX and Exponential 2026 conference, which is coming to Detroit. We're going to be talking about that. Noah Peterson, who is a procurement specialist at Macomb Regional Apex, and Karen Kieski, president of Women in Defense Michigan chapter. This is going to be a defending show, folks. So how y'all doing?
Good, thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
The defense industry is really critical to our region, to our state. Misty, thank you, by the way, for your service.
My honor.
How many years were you in the...
21 years in the Army.
Seems like only yesterday, right? So talk from your standpoint. You're involved in helping to promote the defense industry here. How important is this sector?
For the state of Michigan, it's very important. We bring in $30 billion to the state's economy and over 160,000 jobs across, robotics, manufacturing, engineering, and innovation. So for Michigan, defense is one of the key elements of the state.
Yeah, I don't think most people realize that. And Noah and Kara, you're also, all three of you are involved in the NDI Michigan chapter. What is it? What is that chapter, and what is this mission?
Yeah, so our mission is really to help support the defense industry, support the warfighter, and we do that through events like MDEX and through other initiatives, including an initiative I work on, Young Professionals Connect, and we work with other great organizations like Women in Defense.
Yeah, and Karen, what does your organization do?
So Women in Defense, we are a professional networking organization. We are so proud to be the largest chapter in the country.
Oh, really?
And that really speaks to the support that we find here in Michigan about the defense industry.
We also have coming up in I think May 5th is the MDEX and Exponential 2026 Expo coming to Detroit. 11,000 people, huge number, coming to Huntington Place, right, where this event is going to be held. What is the purpose of this, and is this the first time it's been held in Detroit?
So yes,
you're the chairman, by the way.
I am.
Right?
I am. It's been my honor to chair MDEX, and these two are on the committee with me. This is our 17th year for the Michigan Defense Exposition, but the really exciting part about this year is we are going to be in Detroit, in Huntington Place, and we are co-chairing or co-hosting with Exponential. And so Exponential is an international show focused on robotics and autonomy. And so when you bring these two powerhouses together, we're going to grow, and we're expecting an attendance of about 11 to 12,000 people this year. And it's May 12th through 14th, and we're really excited about it.
It's a lot of people.
It is.
Huntington Place is a stopping ground for a lot of major conferences here. Noah, these almost 12,000 people who will be coming in from it, who are these folks? Are they CEOs? Are they from the military? Who are these folks?
It's everyone. It's a conference open to everyone who wants to come and learn more about both the defense industry and what AUVSI does, at Exponential. It's people who are really interested in seeing how we can innovate, how we can support the defense industry, and how we can support that warfighter.
Is this a company building event? In other words, if I'm a manufacturer here and I'm saying, I'm in autos, maybe I should think about the defense industry. You're going to be learning about more opportunities in this space. Is that the idea?
That's what this show is totally about, the opportunities that exist here in Michigan. And again, ways that companies maybe that are here that aren't currently in the defense industrial base might see other opportunities to expand and diversify their business.
What do you see as a calling card, Misty, of Michigan, what we offer here? We know in World War II, Michigan was the arsenal of democracy as the companies here were building tanks and bombers and everything else for the war effort. How do you see Michigan's imprint now?
So over 60% of what a soldier wears or packs or drives is made here in Michigan. Over 70% of the Army's ground vehicles are designed and manufactured here. So for the arsenal of democracy for a state that supported, like you said, in World War II, what we're going to do is we're just continuing to grow on that. We have the manufacturers, we have the innovation, we have the right thinkers and creators here, and we're just building on that every year and bringing in the new innovation piece of it to continue to support and continue to be that arsenal of democracy.
And Noah, you're out in Macomb where Selfridge is, and we know that leaders are trying to bring in monies to help with the runway, to bring in the brand new jets that they're going to be bringing in to replace the one that's outgoing, being retired. How big is that? And I know Macomb is a center point, and up in the Upper Peninsula too, right?
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for Michigan. It's going to bring a lot of jobs, not only in just the construction sector, but it's going to have a lot of jobs moving forward. You're going to be seeing a lot of people who are going to need to help supply those parts, staff those facilities. So there's a lot of economic opportunity right there, not only in Macomb, but and for the broader region, but for also Michigan.
And I know there's a lot of connection between what goes on with the defense industry and companies around the state here, but we're going to take a quick break, talk more about it. Keep it right here. Welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're talking with retired Lieutenant Colonel Misty Martin. And we're talking with Noah Peterson of Macomb Regional Apex and Karen Kieski, sorry about that, who's president of Women in Defense Michigan here. So we're talking about warfare. And I know when we talk war, I think most of us think of the ground game. It's like you're going to be battling on a field, whatever. But just a few weeks ago, horrifying cyber attack, if you will, on a Michigan medical maker on the west side of the state just underscored it. And it was an Iranian warfare company that did it and took credit for this. Is this an opportunity for Michigan, perhaps, to do more in the cyberspace, do you think?
Yeah, cyber is definitely growing, and that piece of it is something that we are very focused on, being able to, keep companies secure and stuff, and in autonomy and all of those things. So it's definitely something, and so like you said, it's no longer just a ground, none of our wars are just a ground war. They can be done from any computer anywhere.
Yeah, Karen, you are a specialist in cybersecurity. You've spent time in this space. How do you see it? And again, I hate to say there's opportunities and these potential dangerous threats, but that's what war is. And we know we've got a situation brewing around the world that's affecting, obviously, us here in Michigan here. How concerned are you about it? And is there a way to parlay some of these companies and entities, in fact, maybe some coming into this event going on in May, to get more involved in that?
I think what everybody needs to understand is how real this threat is. And again, for so long, small companies have thought it won't happen to me. Yeah. And what we are seeing is the opportunity is there, and those that want to be malicious will do that. Yeah. And so this attack is everywhere. It is on our home front in a cyber fashion.
Right. Wow. And this event that's coming up in May, Noah, you're involved with procurement and helping companies get access to. What can someone do to find out more about these opportunities, besides attending the conference, of course? I don't know how hard it is to do business with, Department of Defense, what companies need to know, but what advice would you give if there's someone watching this who's been toying with the idea, saying, maybe I should be in this defense/aerospace/cybersecurity space? What advice would you give a company or CEO or someone who's starting who's saying, maybe that's where we want to go?
Reach out to your local Apex accelerator. We can help you not only get registered in these systems where you can do business with defense, but we can also help you navigate some of those regulatory challenges, including recent cyber regulations that Karen, in fact, has worked on, quite frequently.
Are you finding at this point in time with wars going around the country, around the world rather, that more companies are reaching out to learn more about this? Are you getting more inquiries, all of you?
Yes,
absolutely.
And in what areas are they? Just in general, how do I get involved? Or is it, I'm manufacturing widgets, I could probably do something for tanks or whatever.
Yeah, I think, as I talked about, when you think $30 billion for one state, right, that's a lot of money. And we don't want to see just the same, companies. We loved our primes and things like that, but we want those small businesses. We want to bring the innovators together with our government. We want to, our biggest focus is to bring the men and women serving home safely, to keep them safe, whether that's by robotics, autonomy, whatever we have to do. And so we want those companies. We want the Fords and the Slates and, and then those small companies that are, hey, I do this for the commercial industry. We want them to be a part of the Department of Defense. And so that's why, MDEX and Exponential and, organizations like Women in Defense and the Apex are such great avenues to join and to learn more about it. And, we say, come to the expo, talk to some of us, reach out, and we'd be happy to, to help you take that first step.
And Karen, what opportunities do you see for companies or engineers or tech companies here who are looking at this? Are there specific areas you say these are the one or two hot spots?
I think the abundance of opportunity is huge. And again, it's about diversifying the business. So these companies, no matter what they do, so autonomy, robotics are really the key hotspots right now. But again, there's all of the other pieces that supply into that. So the smaller companies that think that maybe I don't have a place, there's definitely space and plenty of opportunity.
As mentioned, as we have talked about this, Michigan was, the arsenal of democracy. As we sit here today, when you look ahead 5-10 years, what do you see for Michigan in terms of its imprint in this defense space?
I think there is 5 to 10 years from now, can't speak to the exactness of what that will look like, but I can say this. If Michigan really takes on this opportunity to invest in the defense industry, invest in the capabilities, I think it can bring a lot of economic opportunity to the state, jobs, economy, allow people to build families here.
Missy, you got last word here, about 15 seconds. If people want to attend your conference, where do they need to go?
Yeah, so they need to go to mdex-ndia.com and register. We would love to see you. Attend, sponsor, exhibit.
Lots of things there. Interesting stuff here. Appreciate the conversation. It's part of our present and our future. Thanks so much for being here. And thanks you at home for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next Sunday for a little bit more Michigan Matters.